Welcome back to another video, folks. Took a couple weeks off. My camera was out of commission, but happy to be back making videos and excited to show you what's going on around the farm here as we've moved into autumn. It's been a full time at the farm lately. We've had a ton of people coming out for various events and visitors staying with us, and it's just been a really joyful time and having so much production in our first fall here at Wild East. Before we get into today's video, please make sure to like the video, leave a comment, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. The fall gardens are doing very wonderfully. We've been really happy with how these plants have been coming on. It's been kind of a tough late summer, early fall for plants, really. It's been extremely dry, very hot, but we're happy with the way this no-till, no-dig system is holding water and reducing our irrigation needs, and in general the plants have really taken off. What we have in here, it's not weedy, rather we undersowed a crimson clover cover crop in a lot of these beds, so after the kale comes out, the clover will form a thick mat of cover over these beds, and then we'll be able to just put tarp down in the spring, and these will be beds that we're transplanting into. So we'll be transplanting into a nice terminated thick mat of cover crop that'll really help suppress weeds, and the clover's fixing nitrogen all along the way. For this fall, we've planted a lot of crops that are purples and reds and oranges and different unique colors, and we're going to be starting to sell vegetables at the farmers markets in addition to just our meats this late fall and into winter. And it's a great strategy to draw people's eyes to your booth, to have more than just green stuff. A lot of nice greens grow in the winter, but people's attention is grabbed by some of those more vibrant, unique colors. So lots of purple kohlrabis and kales and cabbages and purple daikons, and excited to stack up really beautiful market booths this winter. This is a second cutting of arugula about to come off this bed. Just really love to see it. This was just cut about a week ago, and it's grown back. I imagine we'll easily be able to get 2 to 3 cuttings off this bed, maybe even more. Now, I was hoping to document more of the process of building out these new beds in our covered garden block where we've put up caterpillar tunnels, but my phone camera went out of commission during the exact time we were working on it. So I wasn't able to capture the process, but wanted to show you what we have now at this stage as we've built them out. So we have 4 beds per tunnel, 3 tunnels. These are the 100-foot by 14-foot Gothic Pro from Farmer's Friend. And we have a lot of really nice fall and winter crops. We're planting lots of lettuces and doing successions all through the winter. Kohlrabis, cabbages. This is our brassica tunnel. And same method with the thick compost and wood chips to level in the beds. In here we're running drip irrigation, and we have a fertigation injector pump that can run fish emulsion and kelp meal and all kinds of good stuff through the lines that it's going to be really critical for the plants being healthy and putting on good growth in the winter. This is an example of the beauty and simplicity of this system. We harvested out hundreds of heads of bok choy in this bed on Friday of last week. And on Sunday, we came through and cut the plants just below the surface, leaving most of the roots in the ground to feed the soil food web. And then we just planted another succession of lettuce right over the top of that. Didn't even have to rake or do a bed flip or anything like that. Did have a frost 2 nights ago, and it was a pretty mild frost, but there was evidence on some of the summer plants we still have in the ground, and it was a bit early of a frost for around here for us. The plan is to get the plastic on the tunnels early next week, middle of October here, and get the end walls onto, so that way we're safe as we get into the window of time where more regular frost is certain. In here, this is next to the tunnels, so if you've watched older videos, you'll remember all of this was in buckwheat over the summer that was then scythed down and tarped between May and August, and we allocated space to build 3 tunnels but have room for more. And in here I sowed a crimson clover and mustard winter cover crop mix that should start coming up if we get good rain here in the next few days. But that'll come up and we'll terminate with the tarp again, and that'll be space to just expand the tunnels for next year's production. The trees are doing wonderfully even in this dry spell. What we've noticed with working with bare root trees this year is that they don't put on much growth in the early summer and spring. You don't see that first flush of growth like you see with established plants. But these trees put on significant growth over the summer in July and August. So trees, if you ever look at a cross section of a tree, there's 2 rings really. There's a lighter ring and a darker ring. So when you're counting rings, you're actually counting 2 rings. And one is the spring growth and one is the summer growth. So we saw really good summer growth as these trees established, and it's been really promising to see how healthy they are with really minimum input from us. Since it's been so dry, we went through this week and watered them with a solution of molasses, kelp meal, fish emulsion, and a mycorrhizal inoculant. But the trees out here in Northfield are just looking beautiful and starting to get big enough that they're visible across the landscape. It's October 11th today, and this is our second to last batch of broilers. We're trying to extend the season and experiment with getting into our last batch running into early December. It's pretty mild here, typically that time of year, so we're curious to experiment. And honestly, once the chicks feather out like this at about 3 weeks, 3.5 weeks when we put them out, they can actually tolerate a bit of cold a lot better than really hot summer weather. So we've got chicks coming in on Friday, 2 days from today, and that'll be our last batch. It's a beautiful sunrise this morning. Part of the joy of having mixed enterprises going on is just how diverse and stimulating my morning walks are. I can visit sheep and gardens and pigs and chickens and check in on everyone, and everyone's got their own little personalities and yeah, just a different energy in each little part of the farm as we rotate these critters around one another and are growing all this beautiful veg. Coming up on the turkeys here, who are getting pretty big at this point. They're growing out and putting on some good size. They're always really curious, come right up to us, and they've adjusted really nicely out here onto pasture. You can see where they've just been, they have a really strong trampling effect with all these birds walking around, and in addition to just eating the grasses, they really enjoy these seed heads that they can, the ones that they can reach at least. But we really enjoy the turkeys and are excited to be part of folks' holidays coming up here in November and December and have our beautiful organic pasture-raised turkeys on people's plates with their families. All right, this is a project that was weeks, if not months in the making to come to fruition. Getting the pig paddocks in the woods set up, and just last week we got the piggies out here moved into the woods. There they go. They kind of spook when they notice me at first, but they settled in beautifully. We were able to borrow a trailer from a friend to make moving them seamless, and immediately it's amazing to watch these pigs, first time they've been in the woods, just immediately go about their business and, you know, really settle in. So we've also, over this past week, had a couple of filmmakers here on the farm who reached out to us back in the summer, and they were interested in coming and staying at the farm and making a short documentary style film about what we're doing here in our first year. And that's been a really beautiful process to be a part of, watching their creative process and having our daily work documented in such a mindful, intentional way. And so that video is going to be coming out very soon, and I'm excited to share that with you all and see what they've put together, because it's just been a joy having them out. So that's it for today's video. I wanted to just make a October walkabout and update of what's going on here at Wild East. Thanks for watching this video, and we'll see you next time.